It seems Wi-Fi routers are getting updated faster than usual. We've gone from Wi-Fi 6 to Wi-Fi 6E to Wi-Fi 7 in record time. But the truth is it's kind of needed. Wi-Fi hasn't traditionally been the fastest technology when it comes to updates to the standards, and now all of these new versions are basically catching it up, but also future-proofing it. And there are a ton of benefits in these new versions of Wi-Fi, especially Wi-Fi 6E and Wi-Fi 7. But with all of that, of course, comes the dilemma of how you choose the best Wi-Fi router for your needs without getting lost in all of those new standards. Now, if you're curious about all the differences between the various newer versions of Wi-Fi, I'll link to all the decoder episodes, my explainer series here on the channel, for each below. But for this video, I've compiled the best Wi-Fi routers out right now for various needs. Okay, so first up, the best Wi-Fi 7 router for the money. This is the TP-Link Deco BE65 Pro. Full disclosure, TP-Link is the only company that sent me their routers for this video. All the rest I bought. Now this is a tri-band mesh system using 2.4 gigahertz, 5 gigahertz, and the newer 6 gigahertz band introduced by Wi-Fi 6E. That new band is a shorter range, but is a much faster band that any Wi-Fi 6E device can utilize when it's closer to one of the routers. It's also Wi-Fi 7 enabled, which gives it a lot of benefits like using multiple bands. Again, explainer below for more info on that. So any Wi-Fi 7 device will benefit from that, and as a lot of devices are launching with Wi-Fi 7 now, not as much as have Wi-Fi 6 and 6E yet though, of course, it means it's more future-proofed. And because of all that, TP-Link claims a theoretical speed up to 11 gigabits per second. Now, the fact it's a mesh system means that you can choose how many nodes you want based on the coverage that you need. You plug in one of them into your internet, and then each node acts in the same way as the original in providing all of those bands to any device near it, and the devices can intelligently and seamlessly be switched between nodes as they move. Also, the Deco BE65 Pro has two 5 gigabit Ethernet ports and one 2.5 gigabit port, which are all faster than the standard 1 gigabit per second. Which means anything plugged into these that can support the higher speeds, like a network attached storage system, etc., will work faster within the network. And since each node has these 3 Ethernet ports, that means you can plug a decent number of devices into each one in the various locations that you put them. And you can use these to run 5 gigabit per second Ethernet between them all as well to provide a super fast wired backhaul of data between the nodes if you were so inclined. The routers also look decent, they're minimalistic, and they blend in with furniture, which is a huge plus to me. Also, the Deco app is one of the more intuitive and nicer looking apps for a router out right now, and you can use it to manage the network easily on your phone. You can also use their Home Shield parental controls feature through the app to block specific websites or even categories of websites easily. And as for every router in this video, I'll leave the best price that I can find on the router in the description below. Now, if you don't necessarily need Wi-Fi 7, you don't really care too much about future-proofing your setup, we have another option from TP-Link as a best value choice for getting Wi-Fi 6E, which is honestly the lowest standard I might go for, as these routers have come down a lot in price already thanks to Wi-Fi 7 being out, and there are a lot of devices that support 6E at this point too, which again, you can check out a full explainer in the description, but one of the major benefits is that it adds a much faster band, which is super useful to have. So this is the TP-Link Deco XE70 Pro. Similar to the Deco BE65 Pro, it is a tri-band router with 2.4 gigahertz, 5 gigahertz, and 6 gigahertz built in. But it takes away some of the newer Wi-Fi 7 benefits that I mentioned again in that video below. But because of that, it is less expensive than the BE65 Pro. And it still supports 6E, which might be enough for most people anyway. And for this one, TP-Link claims 4.9 gigabits per second theoretical speeds. It's also a mesh system, so you can choose how many nodes you need for your use case. And like all mesh systems, including both the TP-Link systems mentioned so far, you can also add nodes as needed later super easily. According to TP-Link, each node gives you 2,900 square feet of coverage, 2 nodes will give you 5,500, and 3, 7,200. Also, each node has a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet port, so you can use it with a multi-gig speed network and devices that support speeds that high. And it has 2 1 gigabit per second ports, so you have a decent amount of options to plug devices into each node wherever they might be. And again, we have the same AI-driven mesh system to allow devices to seamlessly switch between nodes as they move, and even give the fastest speeds to devices that can handle them, just like on the BE65 Pro. And we have that same solid app and same unobtrusive design. Again, I'll leave a link to the best price I can find on this router in the description below. Now, if you have a cable internet service provider, there's a good choice that not only gives you the benefits of Wi-Fi 7, but it also can replace the modem, the device that gets the internet from your ISP and brings it into your home, compared to the router, which then takes that internet and projects it over Wi-Fi inside your home. Now, a lot of time, the modem might even come with a monthly fee for renting it, which by replacing it and giving it back to the ISP, you can then save that. So this is the Aris Surfboard G54. It has 4 1 gigabit per second Ethernet ports and even one 10 gigabit per second port, which you can use to connect a NAS, for example, again, that supports it, or even use it for internet access if you switch away from cable in the future. Now, this combo unit is probably more useful to people who have a higher cable internet speed to really see a lot of the benefits, and is especially useful to people who are fortunate enough to get 1 gigabit per second or higher speeds. But it still will help speed things up on your network regardless and future-proof you for a long time to come. It's a Wi-Fi 7 enabled quad-band router, and because of that, it supports a theoretical 18 gigabit per second speed according to Aris. It also automatically optimizes what devices get set up on which of the quad bands based on what the devices are, and also has a simple app used for setup and making changes to the network. But the biggest benefit here is really that ability to get rid of your cable modem and save that monthly fee, which could equal a decent amount of money over time. Now again, I'll leave a link below to the best price on this router that I can find. And lastly, we have the router that I might pick if you just want speed and that's all you care about. This is the Netgear Orbi RBK E962. They all have amazing names, don't they? It's a Wi-Fi 6E router, but it's quad band, and so has a theoretical speed of 10.8 gigabits per second according to Netgear, and is also a mesh network just like the others. But one caveat, I found that you seem to be required to buy a 2-pack as far as I can tell, as the smallest size, the 1-packs that they sell, don't work as routers. They only work if you already bought a 2 or a 3-pack to extend the network, and that's because the 1-pack doesn't have an internet port on it at all. Nonetheless, if you need the coverage, you can get a 2-pack, which Netgear claims will cover up to 6,000 square feet, and the 3-pack will cover up to 9,000 square feet. It also has a 10 gigabit per second Ethernet port for the internet, really, which means you'll be future-proof for a long time, as 10 gigabits per second is still a ways away, I would say. But, of course, it'll also work with any ISP speeds that we have out right now, until then, regardless. There is also a 2.5 gigabit per second Ethernet port, again, for faster connections, like a NAS that would support that, or even a wired backhaul between the nodes, as well as 3 1 gigabit per second Ethernet ports, and each node has all of these ports, minus the 10 gigabit per second one for the satellites. The app is also pretty solid and easy to use. And again, all of the routers that I've featured in this video, I will have links below to the best prices that I can find, and I'll try to keep those updated as best as I can. And there you go, the best Wi-Fi routers out right now. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Always appreciate hearing from you guys. And again, I will leave links to all of my explainer videos for all the different Wi-Fi standards for anyone who's really curious and wants to go down a rabbit hole.